Hello and welcome back to IDP Bets. How's everybody doing? My name is Johnny the Greek. Hope you guys had a good week 10. It is week 11, and we have a very special guest for you tonight. You guys know him. He's been on the show several times at this point. We love having him on. At Tackle Box Props, all one word on Twitter. It is Patrick, the director of betting at RPO Football. He has a 73% winning rate from 2022 to 2024. He's continued that hot streak into this season. He remains the king of IDP prop betting. He's also a fellow Cowboys fan who joins me in my misery all the time. So I appreciate that. Patrick, good to see you, man. How are things?
Things are, well, they could be better. Jarvis Brownlee decided to go over his total on the first drive against me last night, so that was fun. But yeah, our Cowboys, we get to look forward to a new defense this week, maybe.
Yeah, no, we were talking about that. I mean, Quinnen, that was nice. Nothing else made sense, but that was okay.
Well, yeah, it's probably a new defense, but same result. We'll see.
Yep, that's it. Alrighty, before we get into it, just a reminder for you guys, these are not even suggestions. This is an entertainment show. We are just discussing the bets we'll be making personally. Set a limit and stick to it. For help with problem gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Last week we went 5-3. That's the second winning week in a row, and we've had winning weeks in 3 of the last 4. Macri was 3-1 last week, so we did really well. And we've been mentioning this recently. A lot of these early lines are coming from Underdog and Bet365, but they typically show up at a similar line, slightly different price on FanDuel and DraftKings the day of each game. With that being said, let's get into it. It is week 11. We'll start with Mr. Patrick. What's your first favorite IDP bet for this week?
Yeah, my first one is going to be Kevin Byard under 6.5 tackles and assists. It's minus 145 on Bet365 right now. Byard's gone under this total in 7 out of 9 games this season. The 2 overs came in games against Dallas, where he played his highest snap percentage or snap total of the year with 74 snaps. And then also against the Rams, who are a top 5 matchup for safety tackles on the year. He now goes on the road against a Vikings team that he had 5 tackles against earlier this year, and they've also allowed the least amount of tackles in the league to safeties this year at 10 per game. Jaquan Brisker's questionable in this one, but I don't really think that'll affect Byard's alignment either way. I just would expect Byard to continue his role as the deep safety, whether Brisker plays or not, and he's played 75% of his snaps deep this year. As an added bonus, the Vikings stat crew has been pretty stingy to road teams for tackles, handing out 1.1 tackles per opportunity on the year, which ranks 29th in the league for road teams. My model has Byard projected for 5.1 tackles and under this total around 75% of the time, so willing to lay a little juice here on this one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on this. Byard, whatever, has been underwhelming this season. In the matchup, yeah, McCarthy's not completing a lot of passes. It is not going well for the passing attack in Minnesota, so I could see it for sure.
Right.
Alrighty, good first one to start us off there. I'm going to go with a nice safe pick. I'm going to take Roquan Smith over 8.5 combined at minus 120 on Bet365. So Roquan has cleared that line in 4 of 7 games so far this season, missed a couple with injury. He had 15 combined tackles the first time these guys met back in week 2. So there's a precedent for this. This week he's getting those same Cleveland Browns in their 3rd overall ranking for allowing linebacker tackles each week with 18.6 given up per game. That is only 0.4 of a tackle away from being the overall leader at linebacker tackles allowed each week. So it is way up there. The Browns' rushing attack is their primary mode of offense. They average about 25 rushing attempts per game. Plus, they target Fannin and Njoku a ton. Those two have 99 targets between them to this point in the season. That's an average of like 11 tight end targets per game. So between the plentiful, the good rushing attempt floor and tons of tight end targets, I think we're going to see a lot of action in Roquan's area this week. Baltimore is only favored by a touchdown, so Vegas doesn't think we're going to get a blowout here. So I don't think we need to worry about early rest for Roquan. So we got a few different factors pointing towards a busy day for Roquan in Week 11. What do you think about this one, and what's the model say for Roquan Smith for this week?
Yeah, this one seems pretty decent to me. The model has Roquan at 9.2 tackles and over this around 72 or 62% of the time, excuse me. Yeah, and it seems good. The Browns have allowed 8 different linebackers in 9 games this year to go over this total, and what better player to do it than Roquan?
Yep. Yeah, and just for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, Patrick also helped develop a model that's really good for this. It's been pretty accurate, so that's what we're referencing. Alrighty, what do you got for number 2?
Well, I am going to go against my ways and take an over here, and it's going to be Budda Baker over 6.5 tackles and assists. It's minus 130 on Bet365. Now, Budda has only gone over this total in 4 of 9 games this year, but of his 5 unders, 3 of them were 6 tackles and 2 of them were 5 tackles, so he's consistently around the number. He's at home this week against the 49ers team that's given up the second most tackles to safeties in the league this year at 16.1 per game. Budda did only have 6 tackles against the 49ers earlier this year, but I think we have a game where we have 2 offenses going in a little bit different directions. The 49ers offense should be as healthy as it's been all year this week against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals will be trotting out a backup quarterback, which might be better than their starter anyway, but also a third-string running back, and now Marvin Harrison Jr. will miss the game, so their wide receiver core is going to look a little slim, leading me to think that San Francisco could dominate the time of possession here, and the model tends to agree as it has Budda projected for 7.4 tackles and over this number around 66% of the time.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm with you on this. Pearsall might even play this week, which kind of blew my mind. We haven't seen him since like the Carter administration, so that'll be nice. And yeah, Kittle's healthy, Purdy's maybe back under center, so yeah, things look good, and I agree completely. It's gonna be a long day for the Cardinals. Alrighty, good stuff there. Okay, I'm gonna go with we talked about this beforehand. Probably my worst idea for today, but I think it's got a shot. I'm gonna go with Cody Barton over 6.5 combined tackles. I got this off Underdog, but it should be on Bet365 now as well. So he's only been over this line twice this season, which is a little crazy. Because if you look just at his IDP points each week, he's doing pretty good, but a lot of that is splash plays. But what makes me interested this week is he did go way over this line against Houston back when they played in week 4. And right now, this week, he's up against the Houston team that is now allowing the second most linebacker tackles each week with 18.8 allowed per game. Beyond that, this is the Titans with Cam Ward, not like the 83 Redskins are the greatest show on turf or something. This Tennessee team is 29th in time of possession, 31st in rushing offense, 31st in passing offense, dead last in points per game, and is getting 5.5 points at home against a backup quarterback and a Texans team with a losing record. So none of that is good for Tennessee. I think Barton should be on the field plenty this week, especially when we put that miserable Tennessee offense up against this Houston defense, which is one of the best in the league. So that low initial number of just 6.5, I think that's doable. And if he's going to get over this line, this is the kind of situation and setup I think it'll happen in, just like it did back in week 4 when he played the Texans the first time. But yeah, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, so the model doesn't really disagree with you on this one, but it doesn't agree with you either. I got him at 6.3 tackles. So at the plus 110 odds that you're getting here, that turns out to be a fair line according to the model. But you can definitely make an argument for the over, and you did. On top of what you said, the Texans have allowed 12 different linebackers through 9 games to go over this total, which is a good sign. And then on top of that, just full-time linebackers in general this year. Linebackers that have played greater than 90% of the snaps is what I'm considering full-time, have gone over this number 65.3% of the time, just league-wide. So you have a lot of things pointing in your direction, and getting the plus money on it makes it worth it, in my opinion.
Yep. And I just looked it up. I can't believe I didn't write that down, but it was 9. He had 9 combined tackles in week 4 against Texans, against Houston. And if anything, that was a healthy Houston team with Stroud under center. This is a Houston team that'll probably run a little bit more, I think. So that lines up better for him. But we shall see. All righty. What are you thinking for number 3?
Number 3, we're going to go with Blake Cashman under 9.5 tackles and assists, plus 100 on Bet365 currently. This is for sure a scary one, not for the faint of heart, as Cashman has been on a heater since returning from injury, going over this number in 3 straight games. He faces a Bears team that's middle of the pack in tackles allowed to linebackers this year at 17.1 per game. That said, while the Bears have been an okay matchup for linebackers, they've still only allowed 3 linebackers this year to eclipse this number. On top of that, Cashman faced this same Bears team in week 1 and was only able to record 3 tackles against them. I have Cashman in several fantasy leagues and have been certainly enjoying this hot streak, but I'm going to bet against it here and bet on it coming to an end, as my model has him projected for 8.7 tackles and under this total 63% of the time. How scared are you to place this bet?
Yeah, well, that week 1 game, that was a stinker. I mean, you remember that, right? Like nothing happened the first 3 quarters, and then McCarthy woke up towards the end and won Minnesota for the game for him at the last second. But there was like no offense in that game.
Right. Yeah, it'll probably change here. I'm sure we'll get to sweat it, but still, 10 tackles, it's a lot to get in a game, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And yeah, as we've mentioned before, there are less honorable ways to get the under as well, right? Cashman could tweak a hammy in the second quarter, and we're good.
Let's not root for that. But
yeah,
going back to your Cody Barton stats, which I didn't include in my write-up here, but linebackers that have played 90% or more of snaps in a game have gone under, under this total 72% of the time on the year. But I don't know, 72% for under 9.5 seems like a decent number, but we're also you're including players that are not of Cashman's level as well in that, so it's a little bit skewed.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think it's a good setup. Alrighty, good stuff there. Okay, my next one is a guy that I don't think we've ever mentioned on this show, and frankly has never been on a team of mine. Don't know much about him, but this kind of stuck out due to the circumstances. So I'm going to take Andrew Billings, who is a defensive lineman, under 2.5 combined tackles. He's a Chicago Bears defensive lineman, so he's been under this line in 6 of 9 games so far he's played this season. And he's getting a Vikings team that is allowing the fewest defensive line tackles each week, with only 11.3 given up per game. So Billings this is not like a Max Crosby. This dude is not playing 90% of snaps a game. We were looking at this beforehand, and it's like 50%, 60% if you're lucky, right? So that's not going to be a problem. Billings is under this line 66% of the time to begin with, week to week, and is up against a team that barely allows any defensive line tackles each week. That's probably enough right there. Plus, Billings had 0 combined tackles in week 1 in this game against Chicago. Before Chicago. So beyond that, Minnesota is now the 26th overall team for time of possession, with Chicago averaging about 3 more minutes of offensive possession each week. And J.J. McCarthy hasn't exactly been the driving force for this offense that many hoped he would be. Chicago could easily dominate time of possession in this game and give Billings fewer chances than usual to collect combined tackles. Minnesota is also now the 24th overall rushing offense, and they only average 22 attempts per game on the ground. The leaders in the league have about 32 attempts per game, and most teams do about 26 attempts per game. So we've got a quarterback in McCarthy that's going 3 and out a lot, not completing a lot of passes. He was at like 12 completed passes a game a couple weeks ago, and a rushing attack that isn't very good. Plus all the other factors discussed previously, that feels like a pretty good setup for a slow day at the office for Andrew Billings and a good shot at this under. But yeah, what do you think? This one's a little random.
I think I've never heard of Andrew Billings until you sent me this pick today. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. I ran it through the model. The model says under. I have him projected for 1.6 tackles on 50% of the snaps. And I guess kind of piggybacking off of my Byard under pick, you have a stat crew that has been quite stingy for road teams here. And I said 1.1 tackles per opportunity, which is true, but they've also given out 0.33 assists per opportunity, which is the lowest in the NFL. So it seems like he's going to have to get those tackles via solo tackles, which makes it just a little bit tougher too. So let's roll with the under.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, no, our options are somewhat limited on Friday. We'll just say that.
Yep, for sure.
Alrighty. Okay, what do we got? I think that takes us to bonus. Yeah, what do you got for a bonus this week?
Yeah, so my bonus bet, I'm going to stop with the sack prop that I lost on the last time I was on the show. And we're going to go with Cobie Durant under 3.5 tackles and assists, minus 135 on Bet365. Durant's been under this total in 7 out of 9 games so far this season, and he now gets a Seahawks team that ranks 24th in tackles allowed to cornerbacks at 11.7 per game. Darius Williams was back from injury last week, but only played 19% of the snaps. I'm betting on him being eased back in last week, and that the Rams will revert back to going to their 3-man rotation of Durant and Williams and Forbes for their 2 outside quarterback spots. If that would be the case, Durant would be in line for 65 to 70% of the snaps. At that snap percentage, my model has him projected for 2.2 tackles and under this total nearly 80% of the time. But I also will acknowledge that I have no idea. I think Durant has been playing the best of those corners, so it's possible they stick him out there for more than what I'm projecting here. So that's why it's the bonus bet.
That's right. We saved the most iffy for last. Yeah, no, I'm with you on this. I think they're easing Darius back in as well. Cobie Durant having 100% of snaps or whatever it was last week is definitely an outlier. I mentioned that in my article. I'm like, do not count on this. This does not happen. This is not normal. It should not. I don't think it's going to continue like this. So I'm with you on that. And then Seattle, we talked about this in previous shows. They're so efficient with their passing game that they don't need a million completions to get it done. 7 or 8 JSN completions is usually all it takes for them to win the game. So yeah, there's not going to be a lot to eat, I think.
Yep, and half of those JSN completions probably come from the slot, and that's Quentin Lake territory, not Cobie Durant territory. So.
Yep, absolutely. I am with you on that. Okay, I also went for a corner for the bonus. I'm going to do Denzel Ward under 3. We got a lot of unders this week. I love it. Under 3.5 combined tackles. Good price on this, plus 125 on Bet365. So Denzel's been under this line in 6 of 9 games this season. That's 66% of the time to begin with. We targeted this exact same matchup for the exact same reasons last week with Byron Murphy and hit on it. Because of all this, Ward is getting a Ravens team that's 29th overall for allowing cornerback tackles each week with only 9 per game given up. For reference, Dallas gives up 16.2 because our defense is terrible, and most teams allow 12 per game. So they're really not allowing a lot to begin with. Baltimore likes to run and target their tight ends and running backs out of the backfield, with wide receiver targets being a distant third place option for them. Ward had just one tackle assist in week 2 when they played Baltimore. So we're hoping for more of the same this week. The Baltimore wide receiver targets ranking continues to be really bad, with just 125 total to this point in the season. That is the third worst overall. Most teams are at least at 160. So we're just following the trends here. Baltimore does not target their wide receivers. They don't allow a lot of cornerback tackles. If they decide to completely change their offense and target Zay Flowers a million times, then we're in trouble. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we get more of the same this week, and in that scenario, this is a nice price on something that I think is pretty likely to happen. What do you think about Mr. Ward this week?
Yeah, for sure. Baltimore, just like you said, they don't target their wide receivers. Even with Lamar back, I'm looking at numbers when he's in the game and when he's not, and they're pretty much similar whether he's there or not. They don't give up tackles to corners. Ran this one through the model. I'm looking, and I probably am a little low on snap count, but I have them projected for 2.6. Probably if I bump that snap count up to closer to full time, it probably goes up 0.2 tackles or something. So we'll call it 2.8. So yeah, at plus money, love it.
Nice. All right. Well, there we go. We got some interesting options this week, and yeah. So I can't remember if you mentioned this earlier, but these are more unofficial picks for you this week.
Oh yeah, I did not mention that, but I meant to mention that. Yeah, these will all be unofficial picks for me. I don't want them to be counted for all the people in my Discord because they are not very widely available at this moment. So we'll save those official picks for closer to kickoff on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's been the trend all season. These weird degenerate sites like Bet365 and Underdog have them, Thursday, Friday, and then DKFD on Sunday or the day of the game. So they will get there. Yep. Alrighty, good stuff. Well, Patrick, it is always a pleasure, my friend. What do you got going on this season? Where can the people find you? Any announcements for the crowd?
Oh, I'm just same old on Twitter at TackleBoxProps, and in the Discord over at rpofootball.com is where you can find all my plays. I got nothing new going on. We're just we're chugging along this year.
Nice. How you doing in your leagues?
Ooh, leagues are good. My main IDP leagues, I'm 9-1. Yeah, 9-1 in one and 8-2 in the other. And RPO Writer League, we're like 14-6, 13-7 or something like that. We're against the median, so we're doing all right. Injuries, CeeDee Lamb injury killed me for a couple weeks in a couple leagues. It is what it is. AJ Brown I have in the RPO league, so yeah, that's fun,
Yeah, I'm sure you're enjoying that. Telling Twitch to bench him or whatever.
Right.
That's always great when you see that. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, good stuff, man. Thank you as always. We love having you on. I will absolutely be knocking on your door again. You know that. Before we get out of here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for our other shows, the flagship IDP Show podcast, the IDP After Show, the IDP Trade Show, and IDP Drafts. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so for just $5 a month over at theidpshow.com. We've got premium features for paid supporters that we know you'll enjoy. Follow us on Twitter, all one word, at theidpshow.com. Thank you guys for listening. Good luck this week, and we'll be back same time, same place next week. All right, guys, take care.